So there's something that I really come to realize that I would want more people to really think twice about what it is that you see and what it is that you hear. That's the fact of, I'm still at a 100% case when I hear about someone says that, hey, my dog is being aggressive towards the other dog. It's the other dog. This dog right here, the one that's calm, we got to protect them because they're the ones that are getting attacked, and I don't know what's going on. The other dog is just savage. I'm still at a 100% case that when someone says that to me, I'm telling you, you are wrong with which one is the aggressor. It has still been to me the one that is just making all the noise, that's doing the biting, that's doing the barking, that's doing the sneak attacks, that's biting, that's going crazy. That's the one that's getting abused. That's the one that's getting hurt. That's the one that's getting damaged. That's the one that's getting absolutely destroyed. Wonder, does that concept work with human beings as well? My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. I don't know what it is, but a lot that I research, a lot that I pay attention to, a lot that I really just keep on working with and keep on working around with people is the fact of watching what we think is right, but then we don't really know what's truly going on in the end. We actually truly don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We actually truly don't know what's going on when the whole story isn't being told to us. That we sit here and think that we know everything that's happening. Hey Johnny, let's get up. We think that we know what's going on because of we heard, say, one side of the story. And just hearing one side of the story isn't going to be enough to be able to give you a good understanding of knowing what exactly is going on. That you really need to have a good understanding of hearing and realizing that there's two sides of everything. And when you only listen to just the one side, you're getting a very, very skewed view of what's going on. You're getting a very, very manipulated view of what's actually happening. Because this is something that I've just noticed with most animals, and even when it comes to people that I've encountered, but it's just something that I've just really been able to verify 100% of the fact of seeing when someone is lashing out, seeing when someone is going, seems like they're going crazy. Seeing, hey Johnny, come here. Seeing when the dog is just willing to go to battle. They're willing to harm, they're willing to hurt, they're willing to just risk it all to just get the other person, the other thing to stop. I see this constantly over and over and over and over. And if we're misreading our dogs like this, why would we not be misreading ourselves and other humans and human beings with stuff like that? That you think that just because a person is yelling, that they're the one that's bad. You think that just because that person is the one that seems like it's even getting hit, that they're the ones that are getting abused to the point of physical damage. That they're the one that's putting that physical damage out there must be the aggressor. Must be the one that's mean, that's ruthless, that's just savage. And not really realizing what's going on behind closed doors. What's going on behind the scenes? What's going on that's making that person have to go to the point of feeling like they have no choice but to just absolutely retaliate and just push out and shove so much harm to the world. It just really makes me think a lot about just a lot that goes on when people just seems like the rest of our world, and we're looking at it as that person is so horrible. That person is so malicious. I can't believe they would possibly do that to them. Why would they hurt them like that? Why would they go that far like that? And not realizing what was going on behind the scenes every day, every moment, every second, that's forcing and convincing that person that they have to do something because they're not being seen and they're not being heard. And that's something that is real serious going on today with a lot that I hear and a lot that I have a good understanding with listening to the news and seeing what people have to say and how people are responding to the things on the news and being involved with any of that. That we're only getting one side of the situation that's going on. We're not hearing both sides of it. And not hearing both sides of it is something that is very, very risky, very, very just damaging in a way. Because they're only going to show the hype, the add-on, the excitement, the savageness, the craziness. They're not going to show the other part. Because something that you can even do your own self right now is get onto your YouTube that you're already on and type in someone just yelling at someone bickering at someone battling at something. And you'll hear the person that has the camera talking so sweet. They're like, I don't know why you're yelling at me. I don't know why you're doing this. Why is this happening? Why are you treating me like this? And the other person's just going crazy. The other person just going savage. The other person just hollering, yelling, making name calling, just going absolutely crazy. And it just, every time I see and hear something like that, it just makes me question, what's that other person doing behind behind the scenes that's making that person act like that. Because people don't just act like that. They don't just wake up and turn into a rage. People don't just wake up and just have it in them to just want to be absolutely savage crazy at people and just want to just flip out and just yell and be wild. People just don't naturally want to do that if everything was going all right for them. If their needs were met, if they were satisfied, if things are going pretty good for them in their life, people aren't just going to start to go crazy and act all wild. There must be something going on where they're not being heard. They're not being seen. Their needs aren't being met. They're in a point of absolute desperation. And that's the only way that they're able to finally be able to get someone to notice them is by reacting and looking loud and being loud and going crazy. That's the only way that they've realized to be able to be heard, because everything else that they've been doing, stuff's still been going on. So if you're in a situation where you're seeing someone that is just going wild, it just puts it in my heart to say, why don't you relook at everything that's going on here? Because the person that's going wild is more than likely not being heard, because they were asking and pleading and begging. They're saying, please don't do that to me. Please don't do that. Please. And then when you still would just keep doing it to them and didn't stop, they would ask again, please stop that. Please stop doing that. And then when you would just continue to keep on going at it, that person has to up it. Instead of them just saying, please stop, don't do that, they're going to do something minimal at first. And that might be a push you away. That might be a shouting at you, telling you to stop. But then it comes to a time in a day that sometimes, even when someone is shouting at somebody, the people still keep pushing them. They're shouting, saying, stop that. I don't want you to do that. Get off of me. Get away from me. Don't treat me like that. The other person just laughs at him. Just looks at him like, you silly fool. I can still just keep on doing whatever it is that I want to do. I don't need to listen to you. I don't need to pay any attention to you. And then that's when that other person has to go beyond just a simple shout. Has to go beyond a simple, even figuring out how to try to put their hands on somebody. They have to go further than that, because they have to get their point across of saying, I don't like that. I want you to stop that and get away from me. Sometimes that can look dangerous. And in the dog-to-dog world, which is in reality kind of super similar to the human-to-human world. But in the dog-to-dog world, when that dog finally decides, I'm done. I don't want you doing this. I need you to stop. That's when it's willing and will continuously keep putting its teeth on the other dog. It will bite that dog at first in a way of just stop. It's not dangerous yet. They're not puncturing yet. They're just putting their teeth on you to say, hey, stop that. Then the other dog is going to look at him and say, depending on if they got the message or not yet. If they got the message of, okay, I see what you're saying, then it'll be done there. But in some cases, lots of cases, in majority of cases that I just see when I see these dogs, the other dog doesn't stop at just putting teeth on and just putting their mouth on. They're still taunting them. They're still pushing them. They're still just demeaning them. They're still just trying to do everything to destroy them. So then that dog has to go even more crazy. It has to go even up. Now it's no longer just putting teeth on. Now it's going to bite to the point that it's trying to inflict harm to the point of almost trying to harm you to the point you're not moving no more, because it's ran into a situation that it's not being heard and it's not being seen, and nobody around is able to do anything for it. No one around is seeing what's going on and helping out. No one around is coming for their safety in any sort of way. They're just allowing whatever to happen to keep on happening. Every time that it keeps coming to its owner and saying, hey, can you please help me? Can you help me? The owner just pushes it away and says, you know what? I don't have time for this. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then when it comes down to that point, when he has to finally do for himself and bites to the point of now you got hospital bills because you got to take the other one in. Now it comes to the point that you're just like, that one that bit that dog, that's the one that's the problem. That's the one that's the issue. And then you start treating it even worse off and even more savage. When all it was doing was asking for some help. All it was doing was asking for some assistance. When all it was doing was saying, please just pay attention to what's going on here, because I need some help. This other thing over here is absolutely destroying me. It's putting me into a place that I don't like being and I don't want to go. And it's making me do things that I don't want to have to do, but I have to do it to be able to live, to be able to survive, to be able to stay on this planet, to be able to do anything. So I have to go a little wild because no one's paying attention to me. And then when we treat that dog, that person, like they're the one that's wrong, then that puts them down an absolute even worse off downward spiral. that now they have no idea what to do. Now they have no idea where to go. Now they have no idea how to be even able to do anything. Now it just shuts them down to the point that they don't have a voice, they don't have a self, they don't have a being, they don't have a nothing, because they were just constantly abused, constantly mistreated, constantly just pushed off to the side, constantly just everything taken from them, constantly just never being able to freely just be able to move around, that they're always on edge, always having to wait for them to do anything, always having to give up all of their stuff just so that other one was able to be able to care for them, always being able to do that for them. Now, something to me that is so complicated, and it's so heartbreaking, because I see this all the time, not only just in some dang on dogs. I see this go on with human beings all the time, that there's a lot of us, hey Johnny, there's a lot of us that are out here that are asking for some help. There's a lot of us out here that are pleading and even begging for some help and saying, hey, can you see me? I'm here. Can you pay attention to me? I'm here. I'm not trying to hurt anything, destroy anything, demolish anything, harm anything, hinder anything. I'm not trying to do any of that. I just want to live. And the more and more that people keep on running to that situation that no one is listening, no one is paying attention, that's where things really start to get crazy. And that's where things are really going to start to get super wild and super savage. And that's where we're going to start to see what it is that I feel like I personally see on a day-to-day basis and hear about all the time that's going on in this world, on how people are so easy. It's not easy. It's the last thing. On how people are so to the point of risking it all, risking their entire life, willing to just damage as many people as absolutely possible, because they've been pushed so hard to the point that they don't have anything else to do. And that's something that is super tragic, that if we are unable to read the body language of what these dogs are saying and what's going on with them and how they're feeling, I know for 100% fact you're unable to read the body language of another human being. And you're very, very in a confused state about everything that's going on when you see people. When you see someone that's hurting, you see someone that's not doing right, you brush it off. And us as humans, which is kind of, I'm going to say it similar as the dogs in a way, is even if we are being hurt, it's hard to just stand up to it and it's hard to say no. In a lot of cases, it really is, because of what's been going on with you and how you've been treated and how you everything that's gone on with you in your life. It's hard to say no. So you just give a little fake smile, and that person sees that fake smile as a real smile. They see that fake smile as, oh, you must really like it. Oh, you like being bullied. You like being called stupid. You like being called fat. You like being called skinny. You like being called a retard. You like being called all these names. It's okay, because the person never just stood up to you, wanted to slap you, punch you in the face instantly, and said no to you. So people think that it's okay to keep doing that. It's okay for the news medias and the TV shows to keep on talking to us like we're just some stupid, foolish, idiotic people. It's okay, because we're not standing up to say anything about it. We're not standing up to do anything about it. We're not standing up to say, hey, I don't want to be treated like that. And the more and more we just keep getting treated and keep getting talked to like that, one day something's going to happen that it's no longer just going to be a little fake smile that someone's got on their face, but it's going to be someone that's going to do something absolutely savage and absolutely dangerous. And I'm hoping that we can stop this. I'm hoping that we can get away from this. I'm hoping that we can finally be able to have better understanding of how to be able to recognize when someone's hurting. When we can finally recognize and realize when someone is not being heard, when someone is being violated, when someone is being mistreated, when someone is being just absolutely treated to the point of just helpless. They're helpless with what it is that they have and what it is that they're able to do. Helpless with what it is that they're able to possibly be able to figure out how to be able to move forward in life. I hope that we are going to start to be able to become a better, more intelligent human species, to be able to recognize when someone is hurting, to figure out how to be able to help them, instead of just laughing at them, instead of just teasing them, instead of just telling them, oh, you'll figure it out and get over it. Even though when you go home every single day hurting and destroyed yourself, but you want to act like you tough, that nothing affects you, nothing destroys you, nothing hurts you, nothing harms you. You want to act like you're so tough, but yet when you go home, you're nervous, you're scared, you're frightened. You're shivering your own self with what's happening and what's going on around you. But you want to act and play like you're so tough that doesn't happen to you. So when you do see someone that's hurting, you have it in you to just talk down to them. Like, stop that. Stop. You so silly. You stupid. You shouldn't be like that. And that is something that is making us worse and worse and worse and worse today. Something as simple as how we're sitting out here and acting like everyone is just so rich and everyone is just so wealthy when you're not. When you're just acting like you are, but then you go home and you're looking at all your bills, your credit card bills, you're looking at all your late fees and everything going on, like, man, I'm behind. But then when someone else says that they're behind, you're quick to just sit there and say to them like, no, you pathetic. Why don't you have enough? You should be working harder. You should be this more. Hey, Johnny. And that's something that it is so destructive with us as humans, that we try to lie and manipulate instead of just be honest and be truthful. If we were more honest and more truthful and more just understanding of each other, we would just have such a better planet. We would just have such a better time on this land. We just would have such a way easier of access to being able to do what it is that we do. But the more that we're out here trying to lie and deceive and trying to act like everything is okay and trying to push down and hinder those that are actually struggling, even though you're struggling yourself, the more that we're going to just keep on seeing this absolute mass amount of chaos just continue to keep on happening on this planet. The simple ways that everything out here today is really trying to show us and force us and let us see that how to, I guess a good word I could say is desensitize us to certain things that are going on this planet. The more that I see that just a mass amount of chaos, a mass amount of hate, a mass amount of destruction to the point of death is like normalized today. It's looked at like it's just, yeah, that's all good. That's fine. That's acceptable in a way. We're normalizing it in all of our movies. Even our kids' movies are normalized to the point of everything that they see on kids' films are just seeing death is just, it's okay, it's laughable, it's funny, it's okay. We're just getting so desensitized to that when we do actually start having it and seeing it in our world, we just brush it off like, yeah, whatever. But there's always a case that someone is being pushed so hard. They're being pushed so hard to the point of feeling like they have to be savage, that they have to do something destructive because they're not being heard. And if we're not listening to the people that need to be heard, we're only damaging ourselves slowly but surely from within inside, from within ourselves, from just what we're doing. And that's something that we really need to figure out how to be able to get better with, is understanding that there's some people out here that are not doing as good as the rest of the people. And if we're constantly just trying to push them off to the side and not allow their voice to be heard and just kind of in a way even making fun of them and really just damaging them, we're going to start to see a whole lot of chaos happen on this planet, unfortunately. And that's something that is already happening. And that's something that I would hope that more and more people are actually able to see. That just because you see someone that's lashing out, that may not be. And still in the case with the dogs, that's still not the case of knowing that it's the one that's lashing out is the one that's doing all the that's starting it, that's doing it, that's forcing it, that's driving it. It's usually the one that's quiet. It's usually the one that's looking pretty, that's not saying anything, that's not doing anything. That's the one that's usually the one that is doing all the damage. And they're doing it in such a way that no one else is actually able to see. That they're only allowing that person that's getting all the hate towards them, they can see it. They're silently doing it, and they're moving around and telling you that they crazy, that they no good, that they no understanding, that they're insane, when in reality it's the person that is driving that other person into insanity to make them react and make them act crazy. Something for me to really just make known that I hope that more people have a good understanding of knowing how to be able to read people and understand people. When someone is hurting, when someone's sad, when someone's irritated, when someone's not feeling good, when someone doesn't want you to do what it is that you're doing to them, just really understand what's going on and stop pushing that and stop driving it and stop just forcing what it is that you think that you like upon everybody else, knowing that they don't like that and they don't appreciate that and they don't want to have to deal with that. And it's making a very destructive place out here. And it's not like I only see 1 or 2 dogs a year or 2 years or 10 years even that are in a situation like this. This is probably the norm. If you have more than 1 dog in your house, this is going on, I guarantee it, because you're not really reading exactly what's going on. And if we're allowing this and not seeing this with a simple animal, if we're not able to read a simple animal, are we really reading another human being correctly with what it is that we're doing to them? With that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for a very interesting day and a very interesting time. It's about to start. It's about to start raining here. I thought I was going to have to move because it would start raining on me right here, right now. But I'm just so thankful to just be able to realize and recognize and see when something's going on that is not right. And I don't know what it is in me that I can't just sit down and sit to the side and just allow that to keep on happening when I see that happening. Then I have to stand up and say something and do something about it. That if I see someone that's just trying to attack someone just for no reason, just to have it in you, that's something that we just can't be a part of out here. And that's something for me that if that's done in front of my face, I have no choice but to do something and say something about it. And that's just who I am and what I am and what I stand for and what I believe in and what my values are. that I can't allow to see someone getting just destroyed, get hurt, get abused and get beat and just look the other way. I got to stand up and say something about it, because I've been in this scenario my own self, and I've known many who've been in the scenario themselves. I've been in this scenario many times in my life when someone would just do something to me that I didn't like, and then they would just keep doing it even though I said to stop doing it. And then the only way I was able to get them to stop doing it was if I literally would have to look a little crazy sometimes, because the other person is just not stopping. And I'm thankful to not have to ever be in a situation, never, not say never again, but I'm not in that now. I'm thankful to not have to be in that situation of when I say, hey, don't do that, and the person just keeps doing it, that I don't know what to do next to convince you to not do it. I'm thankful that I can see that and recognize that and realize, I guess what I could say one of the greatest things today is my worth and my value, is understanding that I don't need to be with somebody or anything that's just gonna keep on doing what it is that I tell them not to do, and do things that are just hurting me, doing things that are harming me. And that's the power of what I'm gonna say is who Jesus is all about. He's been able to get me away from the need of having to be with somebody, the need of having to just deal with somebody, and allow them to just do whatever it is that they want to do, because you hurting. Because you hurting. And have it in you that you're not valued enough, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not nobody enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not nothing enough, that you have to deal with that, because there's not going to be another next. There's not going to be anything more for you. It's not going to be anything greater for you. And that's something that I know to be as a, okay, you can go, as a 100% testament of what it is that I've been able to get through with having a good understanding of knowing who Jesus is and what he's all about and been able to do for me, is allowing me to realize that I have a lot of value. I have a lot of worth. I have a lot of self to give. I have a lot of personality. I have a lot of being. I have a lot of help to be able to offer to people, not just to a very few and a very slim and a very one person on this planet. That sometimes we got a lot of people on this planet that are just trying to force you to just only focus on them. And that's what I'm going to say is where idolatry really comes into play, where there's some people on this planet that are really going to start to test and tempt you to see what it is that you're going to do, see where it is that you're going to go, and in reality, see where it is that you are with your faith and what you want to pursue with that. That sometimes we got a lot of people out here that are trying to push you away from knowing and understanding who God is. And I'm thankful to realize that Jesus is the way to be able to help you to get through these problems. And a lot of times when you're in a situation when you seem like you're the one that's getting mad, getting hyped, getting aggressive, pay more attention to what's actually going on to you. Because more than likely, if you're having to escalate to get loud, you're not being heard. And not that you're not being heard because you just want to be a childish ways and trying to like just get whatever you want whenever you want. No, you're not being heard because there's someone doing something to you that's actually harming you, and it's actually hurting you, and it's actually damaging you. And that's why you got to get loud and get a little angry and get a little feisty and get a little aggressive looking sometimes. And I hope that if anyone is in that situation, to really just take a step back and think for a second. Maybe it's not you that's the one that's the bad one or the evil one. When you just have someone saying that to you constantly over and over, that's making you think that you are. Maybe it's someone else around you that is forcing that upon into you because they're doing something to you that you don't want. And it actually scares you. It actually makes you nervous. It actually is harming you physically, and it's harming you to the point that you're not even mentally able to do what it is that you need to do. That you're getting destroyed and getting destroyed. And I hope that you're able to be able to get out of that and be able to just have a better understanding of just realizing and recognizing when you're hurt, and realizing that you can't allow people to just keep doing that to you. Thank you.